Well, good morning. Thank you for coming by, Ketolicious Kid. Welcome to my channel. This morning, we're talking about the keto diet, of course. It's something that's a journey. And I know that it works for me. It's worked for my son. It's worked for my sister. That's 3 of us, 3 out of 3. And I've tried to lose weight many different ways. Starving myself, still gain weight. I don't know how that happens. But I've realized through time and learning that eating fat is what helps you burn fat. So I hope that you join us here, comment and subscribe. And we'd really like to know that you're out there watching, listening, and if you enjoy the channel, please let us know. It makes it getting up every day and doing this worthwhile. So today I'm going to be making some real easy dinner. I'm preparing it now. Breakfast this morning was really my standard, pretty much bacon, eggs, and half of a keto cinnamon roll with a cup of coffee. So that's all out of the way, easy. Now I'm thinking ahead for dinner tonight. And I had some pork ribs in the fridge, 2 packages, because I like to have leftovers. And so I like to cook a little bit more in bulk, not just for one meal necessarily at a time. How do you do it? Share below. Do you like to cook ahead? Are you a prepper? I am. I like prepping, there's no doubt. So anyway, what I've done is I've already browned the ribs. I'm going to be putting them in a crock pot, as you can see here. And it's a big one. The little one kind of got broken, so we're using the big one. And I don't like the big one, personally. I like the little one. But I've already browned the ribs, and now I'm going to be putting them in the crock pot. I know that Wesley of Highfalutin Low Carb, I just love him. He's a lot of fun to watch. And, you know, it's interesting because there's several people out there that really got me started. And I'm really grateful for them. Shout out to them. Headbangers Kitchen, Keto Connect. Also, At Home with Misty. I'm following her journey for a couple years now, and I really love her. She's just really entertaining, and she likes to talk about her life and her keto journey. So I think it's very inspiring, and she certainly has had some issues to deal with, that's for sure. But as we all have in life, some just have a bigger time of it than others at a certain time. So my best wishes to her. I hope that her keto journey continues, and she's done fantastic. If you don't know who she is, check her out. Some of the other ones, Go Keto with Casey. I really like her. She is an older woman who just really gets down to basics and talks about, you know, doing keto, how simple it can be, and it really can be. It is really about, you know, doing 70% of your diet, the highest percent in fat, a moderate amount of protein, and staying under those 20 grams of carbs a day. And, you know, if you go over 20 grams of carbs in a day, it's not going to be the end of the world, but it surely would be good to stay in that realm. So that's something to shoot for sure. And that's what I try to do every day. I try to shoot for the 20 grams of carbs a day. And then if I go over a little bit, I don't feel too bad. But I'm certainly not going out and having a banana split sundae, although that would be really delicious. But I don't need it, because when you eat a lot of fat, and if you are keeping the fat ratios up, you're just not going to be really hungry. And that's the beauty of keto. So what we've done, let me show you. I've got in the pan the ribs, and I've got, let's walk over here. These are on the stove, and they're all browned up nice, as you can see. And what I've done, I've just taken, I talked in my previous video about some of the products to have on hand. I love to have a little nutritional yeast. The nutritional yeast I've sprinkled on top of the ribs when they were being browned in the pan, and they just add a really good flavor, a little bit of a nutty flavor, and so I highly recommend it. just give it a little kick of taste. So that all I put on my ribs really was salt, pepper, and some nutritional yeast. Another product that you might want to be aware about is xanthan gum. In xanthan gum, we don't use flour to thicken things in keto. So in lieu of that, xanthan gum is a great product. It does thicken, soups or stews, or I'm going to be putting in a little barbecue sauce in the ribs, and it's going to be sugar-free. And so to make that not real runny when you do the long time cooking in the Crockpot, a little xanthan gum, and it goes a long way. Be forewarned. Xanthan gum, you need a pinch, maybe 2 pinches, but don't go putting in a teaspoon or tablespoon full until you know you need more, because it does take a while to thicken, like cornstarch would, and a little goes a long way. Little goes a long way. Anyway, there's that. So let's get to it, and I'm going to take those ribs off the stove. I'm going to add them into the crock pot, and we'll get going. Let me get this set up here. All right. So just pop those in there. Really easy. And I like to get all of that goodness. That is gold. That's gold in there. So let me get a spatula so we can get it out. I should turn off the TV. I'm listening to TV, and I like to watch and listen to educational and informative things. I don't know what it is about me. I'm not really a soap opera watcher. I could care less about soap operas or, fake people's lives. But I do like discussion types of things, and watching Russell Brand, Under the Skin. He has Jordan Peterson on, Dr. Jordan Peterson. So I don't know if you know who he is, but, I think it's really interesting to hear them talk about many of the issues of the day. And so let me go turn that down. All right, here I am again. So let's get the gold into the pan. And I'm scraping every bit. I want to scrape every bit out that I possibly can. And that's going to make the flavor pop. It's going to add to it for sure. All right. So there's our pan. And I got all that scraped out. This pan is cooled off, by the way. And I don't know if you have one of these kind of spatulas. I love them. They are the best. You can use them in some hot situations and cold situations, and they don't melt like some of the others that are like really thin. So I'm going to be getting a line of these on my site, and you can get your personalized, or if you like the one that I have that says Keto Kid on it, let me know. But those will be available shortly in the links below. Okay. So I know Wesley at Highfalutin Low Carb, he actually did a comparison of barbecue sauces that were keto friendly. And him and his friend, I love the episode. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really worthwhile to watch it. He likes to compare things, and he also tests recipes that other keto creators have out there. So one of the products that they reviewed was the barbecue hickory. G. Hughes is the name, G. Hughes Smokehouse. And there's the picture. And I get this at Walmart. It's not very expensive. It's maybe, I'm thinking like $3 and some change, the whole bottle. So looking at the bottle, we're looking at a total of, this is for 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons, and that's something that Wesley was mentioning in his video that you have to pay attention to, because one of them that he got had higher carbs, and it was only 1 serving was a teaspoon. So if you're talking about having a teaspoon of barbecue sauce versus 2 tablespoons, to me that's a significant difference. And putting it in my dish in the crock pot, a teaspoon would not work for me at all. It just would be too little. So 2 tablespoons, I can do it. And this is 2 grams of carbohydrate, 0 dietary fiber, so there's none of that really, and no sugar. So 2 tablespoons, I could put 4 tablespoons in my pan with the ribs in the crock pot and let that cook, and that's gonna radiate some really delicious flavor in there. So 4 grams of carbs, I'm all in for that. So I do recommend it. Okay, back to business. Once the ribs are in here, as you can see, here we go. They're all in there. I'm just gonna go ahead. I don't have very much of this left. And I'm just gonna dot. Look at that. That's probably not even, I don't think that's 2 tablespoons of, at all. It's less, because I don't have very much left. And I wouldn't use more than that anyway if I had a whole bottle. All that you need is a little dab will do you. Who remembers that little saying from one of the commercials years ago? Do you remember? Let me know. A little dab will do you. Who was that? What commercial was that? Oh, I think it was VO5 for your hair. Anyway, here in Minnesota, I need some VO5 on my hair. It's just horrible. Anyway, there we go. Putting a few drops on the ribs. And what I'm going to do, since my bottle is really empty, I'm going to take this and put a little water. And I don't want much water because, remember, we don't want it to get too thin. And just get the rest of that out of there. Okay, so a little bit. And then I already put the nutritional yeast on top. So I'm just going to take a pinch of the xanthan gum and put that in there. So here we go. It's real simple. Let's see here. Just a pinch. And that's going to keep it from getting too runny while that meat cooks, because the water is going to come out of the meat. And that is going to make it just watery. That's no good. I don't want watery. So just a little sprinkle in each corner. I even put some back in the bag. All right. Now what we do. What's the Ronco commercial? Set it and forget it. That's all we have to do now. Put the cover on. We got it there. And I've got it on low. And I'm going to leave that cook on low for about 5 or 6 hours, depending on when it becomes fork tender. So we'll see you back here later when it's all done. Bye.